Is
Yeah.
that Dave Grohl in that picture? No. Dude, look at that. It looks like Dave Grohl.
I'm going to have to be able to read all this chicken scratch.
You should have been a doctor. So you remember how happy I was last week?
Yeah.
Well, I am equally that sad this week as we are as far from the Masters as we get all year.
It's Masters withdrawals.
It sucks.
I can't remember a better Sunday since 2019. Just all the movement up and down.
There was a lot of movement. There was. I mean, last year's was pretty amazing here, and we just forget them as we go along. This one made me feel really uneasy about Monday morning. I wasn't looking forward to it. Welcome back to the Talking Divots podcast. I'm Steve Byrne.
I'm Jack Snow. We are going to get right into our recap of the Masters. I think we had one of our better finishes that we've seen in a while. We just briefly discussed years past, and obviously last year was glorious with Rory completing the career Grand Slam. We had Tiger back in 2019, but I couldn't take my eyes off the television on Sunday with all the movement. Multiple guys eat first, dropping two shots, dropping a shot. I mean, there was five guys. It was really Scotty, Russell Henley, Cam Young, Rory, and Rosie battling for that first, second, third hole. I mean,
throw Tyrrell Hatton in there as well.
He made a move.
Right there. He was right there. But Rory, God bless him, he joined a very short list of repeat winners at the Masters. Now it's Nicklaus, Faldo, Woods, and McIlroy. Pretty amazing. He didn't make it easy on himself at the very end, but, you know, he did enough to get the job done, and that's Rory fashion. That's okay. I think he showed, like, I can keep you at arm's length and I can get that shorter and still be okay. And, yeah, I can flail out my tee shot on 18 and I'm still going to be okay. You know, there were a couple times when I thought Rory had allowed himself to, I don't know, reinvite that monkey that's been living on his back for 20 plus years to say, yeah, okay, I won one. Come on, monkey, it's time for you to live there again. But you know what? The 6-shot lead after 36 holes, when that evaporated, I don't know. People could look at that and say, this is Rory being Rory. This is him, you know, throwing away a golden opportunity to rewrite history. I don't know. I mean, it's just, that's more Augusta National than I think it is any one player or any group of players.
Yeah, coming into the tournament, I really didn't think Rory was going to win. Going into Sunday, you know, he's one of the best players in the world. However, I thought these guys were going to make a move, particularly Scotty Scheffler and Justin Rose. I betted them heavily Sunday morning to win. I got great odds, so I was, you know, glued to the TV watching them go up and down. And like you said, Rory did not make it easy on himself. He missed a lot of short putts and then a lot of makeable birdie putts from 8 to 10 feet that a lot of guys were making out there and putting the pressure. And particularly that shot on 18, you know, I had Scotty and Rosie finished. I think they were both at 11, and I was like, he's going to hit a perfect one. I'm going to lose everything. And then he flails it out to the right. And I was like, there's hope. There's hope. But then, you know, he found that lie and he could hit that high draw over the tree right to the front of the green. It just was perfect. He was going to hit the shot. And honestly, him winning this back-to-back just proves to me even further why he's one of the best players of all time. And now I think kind of sky's the limit for Rory.
I agree. I mean, three-peat is not out of the question in 2027. You know, I don't know. Does he have that Mamba mentality like my Lakers did back in 2000 through 2002? I don't know, but he hit 2 shots in particular, or there were 2 holes in particular. Number 11 on Saturday, completely inexplicable. Why would you even look at the middle of the green, let alone left of middle, with a 7-iron in your hand? It's scary enough with a pitching wedge in your hand to that green. He took on that pin, and there was no reason to do it. Should have flailed it out to the right, chip on, make your bogey, that's fine. Bogeys happen, move on. And then on number 4, on Sunday, on the final day, he missed a putt like this. Double bogey. And what did Jack tell him in the beginning of the week? He said, no more fucking double bogeys. He almost pulled it off, but 2 is better than 4 from last year.
Did you see that putt on 16 that he had when he hit it over the green? He juiced.
I'm going to talk about that later.
He juiced an 8-iron and then just putted sideways.
He was so jacked up.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe he pulled 8-iron there. I said to my girlfriend, I was like, that's too much.
I think he just did it to not be in the water no matter what. And he was like, maybe I'll
bounce it off of the crowd.
Yeah,
bounce it off the crowd.
And something I wanted to bring up too is we talked a little bit last week about how the caddy bib numbers, right? It's based on how you show up. They were talking about how Rory's been down there for almost 3 weeks. Guess what bib his caddy was wearing? Number 1.
Yeah. I thought 1 was reserved for the defending champ.
Oh,
is it? Maybe? No, maybe not.
I don't
He's
know.
been there for 3 weeks, and he's definitely.
I think
1.
he showed up first, and he probably has practiced that putt for a Sunday, saying, "I'm going to blast it over the green, and I know to hit it to this spot, and it's going to funnel right down to the flag."
It was crazy, and it was such an amazing kind of semi-recreation of Tiger back in 05 when he beat DeMarco with that chip that only one person in the world could make. Rory wouldn't be that one person who I'd say, yeah, he can cozy this putt down to kick-in length. There's 20 guys who I think could do that, but he did it at the right time. And, good for him. Like he said, and like so many other players have said before, anything can happen on that second 9, especially in the final day, and it did. Yeah. So kudos to Rory. I'm going to say first cheers of the night. Rory McIlroy, our back-to-back Masters champion. Cheers. Or as we say, slancha.
Throw it out.
Did you just throw out an Australia?
Yeah.
Nice.
I have an Italian roommate, so
That's not Italian.
What? It's not?
Australia?
Yeah.
It's Russian.
It's Russian.
Yeah.
Well, I have a Russian aunt.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so maybe that's where I picked it up. I thought it was Italian.
What's Italian? Probably just be salud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, last bit on Rory. I don't think another major is out of the question this year, especially after this. Confidence is an all-time high. He's taking this week off. I don't think he cares, not anything other than majors now, and he's chasing Tiger and Jack.
I think he's going for a second round of the Grand Slam.
Double-digit majors, I think,
it's within a prolonged grasp. He's going to have to prolong his really active career in order to do that.
He's going to have to win 1 or 2 for the next few years. Statistically, yes, but that's obviously hard to do with all these great players nowadays, but
it's not out of the question.
Not out of the question.
Guy's in great shape. He's kind of shrugged off those early career injuries.
Yeah.
And I don't see it being so far out of the realm of possibilities that he wins Shinnecock. That's a golf course that's going to favor him.
Yeah.
Aronimink, I don't know. I've never seen Aronimink host a PGA tournament, so who knows?
That's a cool course, I've heard. My buddy from Pennsylvania always talks about it. He's played it a few times. And shout out Jesse. I don't know if you watch this, but we've texted about it. He likes it.
What's up, Jesse?
What's up, Jesse?
And then, he's always a threat at the Open Championship. So who knows? Who knows, man? It could happen. It could happen. There are a couple guys I'd like to talk about from the Masters this past weekend. You mentioned him earlier, Scotty Scheffler. He made things very interesting over the weekend. He went bogey-free over the weekend.
Insane.
That's incredible. When other guys were falling like left and right, this guy is saying, I'm the best player in the world. Watch this. And he did. And it was amazing to see because he wasn't going to be forgotten about through that tournament. And he made an incredible statement going 36 holes bogey-free. What do you go, 65, 66? I've got it here, 65, 68.
68.
65, 68. One back.
65.
That's amazing. 65. I wonder if that was the low round of the event.
I bet it. I mean,
it might have tied for the low round of the event. But really, really good form, Scheffler. I was really impressed. There was kind of a part of me hoping that there was going to be a playoff between those two juggernauts.
And Rosie in the mix there,
That'd be cool, too.
So, yeah, Scotty was my top 5 pick last week. That cashed at plus 140. I did really want him to win, though, and I felt torn last week with picking Scotty to win versus Bryson DeChambeau, who
The shambles.
didn't make the cut, shot 6 over on Thursday
Wasn't
and
his week.
Friday. Wasn't his week. I think he was. The only thing I can think of is he was a little too hyped up for the moment, where he's just so excited for it, and then just puts so much pressure on yourself, and then you shoot, 5 over the first day, and it's like, all right, now I got to shoot 61, and then you just can't get anything going.
Yeah, it could be a collection of factors there. But if there's a guy who is capable of shooting a 61 or a 62 to get himself back into a tournament like that, I got to say Bryson is one of those 3 or 4 guys in the world who could do that. He didn't do it this weekend. I still see him competing for another 15 years at the Masters.
tough.
No, not anything past that.
He's
but-
going to get a green jacket at some point.
Yeah.
But back to Scotty. He's just so solid, and kind of in 2026 Scotty form, lulls you a little bit to sleep on Thursday, Friday, and then comes out on the weekend firing, puts himself right in contention. You expect it. Would have loved to see him get the job done, but ultimately, Rory pulled it off.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Justin Rose
Do it.
again because the T3, he's tied for the most runner-up finishes at the Masters. 45 years old, competed his tail off. There was really, a point on the back nine where he pushed an iron that I thought was a turning moment. And then he had to wait a really long time to hit a shot into a green because of our guy, Hao Tong Lee, which we may mention, but we love Hao Tong Lee. He's a funny dude. But it just kind of slowed his momentum, and then he pushed a drive, and then he pushed a few more irons and really got him off track. And then he had that 3-putt also on the par 5 where he had a fantastic shot in right at the flag, super dangerous on the edge of the water.
Number 13.
And then 3-putted didn't take advantage of that, and he looked frustrated. He lost his momentum, where I thought he was really, going to shoot 3-4 under on the back nine and run away with this thing.
Yeah. It would have been interesting had he made one more birdie and made it extremely complicated. But you know what? This is who Justin Rose is. Because if you're a fan of his, you're never going to give up on him because he's his own biggest fan and he's never going to give up. I think this is now that Rory has won the Masters. I know he's won it twice. I think the Masters is now Justin Rose's white whale. And I think he's going to commit himself to winning this tournament. I think, and I'll make this our handshake bet if you're willing, I'm going to say that Rosie wins the Masters before DeChambeau. Bear in mind, DeChambeau will continue
Not
to...
taking that because
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, I know. You're smart not
And
to.
I want that to happen.
I know. I think everybody but DeChambeau wants
Yeah.
that to happen. But, I think they've both got green jackets in their future. Another guy I'd like to talk about, University of Georgia product, Russell Henley. Man, is he tough. He is so tough. I mean, he's a guy, he stands on the tee and he knows he's going to get outdriven by 20 yards all day long by guys like Rory, Scheffler, DeChambeau. I mean, more than 20 by some of these guys. But he steps up and he does his job. He's great shots gained approach, amazing putter. Where's he, like 17th, I think, in the 17th shots gained putting.
He was right there, and I saw him miss a lot of 10 to 17 foot putts on Sunday that would have taken him to 12 and get him up in that top part. And just he made a lot of birdies early and put himself in contention, but he was right there. It was tough. I was rooting for him. I wanted those to fall, but I like him as a player. He was hitting those low bullet draws. I haven't seen Augusta that dried out. And the greens were all brown and parts of the fairways. And I'm like, Augusta doesn't like this very much. They want it to look perfect, but it looked like a real tough, fast course. So props to them for letting it, just get freaking burnt.
I agree.
The greens were probably rolling at, what, a 14 and a half on
I was going to
Sunday?
ask you that because
That's
I
what
never
I
heard a
thought.
number, but
I
they
didn't
were
either.
so fast.
Lightning. And you
Yeah.
watch the slow-mo, zoomed in view of the putt, and any little nook, nick or whatever it would hit would alter the ball, and it's just so precise, and you really just get it rolling and pray it goes in.
It looked incredible. It played even better. I love it when the greens at Augusta get tabletop firm, but to see that much release in the fairways, to your point, I don't think I've ever seen the ball release that much there. It was great because it does kind of bring a guy like Henley back into the mix because instead of hitting a 5-iron into 17. He's hitting an 8-iron or something. It gives him a fighting chance. Nobody birdied 17 on Sunday.
I remember that.
Incredible.
When Rory was kind of coming up in that final group, they mentioned that. It was a tough hole to play.
Very tough. Tough pin placement there on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a dartboard on
Can't really
Saturday.
go at it on Sunday at all.
No. You lose it right, that's a tough up and down. Rory did lose it right. Got it up and down.
Yeah.
But if you lose it way left, that chip is diabolical. It's the last 10, 15 feet. Straight downhill. You can't stop it. Then you got to chip one in.
Yeah, it rolls off the green.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Anyone else you got?
We talked about Tyrrell Hatton really quick. I was pretty impressed. And I knew I was going to be impressed by Tyrrell Hatton.
You mentioned him last week.
Yeah. We don't get to see him much anymore. He's a really colorful character. I've never seen him be so demonstrative where it's like distracting, where it's like, that guy's annoying. He's more funny.
Makes you laugh.
He makes you laugh. He like curses the great shots and he's watching the bad shots. Like, it's a very strange feeling that guy gives me when I watch him play. And when I watch him play well, I'm completely confused because he is maybe the most dangerous wedge player in the world. I think he or Shane Lowry, they're just amazing wedge players. They've got that feel, that intuitive motion through the ball. And it was great to watch him play. He was the only live player who got mentioned or shown throughout the weekend. I'll give you a little rundown here. DJ, tie for 33. Rahm, tie for 38. Schwartzel, dead ass last. And then, we'll talk about Bryson missing the cut. Those are the live players who really matter. I think Bubba Watson missed the cut as well. I think he was right on the line.
Yeah.
But, Sergio's best contact that he made all weekend was with a bench on the second tee. So live did not show except for Tyrrell Hatton. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, he birdied, 4 in a row?
Yeah.
On the back nine and really posted a clubhouse lead at the time. And I was like, hey, if he posts 11, 12 under, he's got a chance. I mean, these guys are dropping off a little bit. They're kind of flirting with that 11, 12, 10 line. A guy I want to mention is Colin Morikawa. And they showed him later in the day on the broadcast. I think he made 5 birdies in a row. He birdied 12 through 16.
With a bad back.
And he looks like Tiger Woods, 2008, just but just toughing it out, straight face. I'm here to play in the Masters. He wasn't going to start this week. So really shows some grit out of Colin where, we saw him win Pebble this year. He's won a couple majors already. He's a guy that I really thought was going to take off after winning a couple majors earlier in his career, has had some injuries, has kind of maybe something with his swing, but that was really positive for me to see. I hated his shirt, though. That was one thing. It was like this ugly blue and black, and it wasn't patterned well. That was one thing, but overall, shout out to Colin for toughing it out, making 5 birdies in a row. That was cool to watch.
Maybe it was like the closest one in his closet, and his back hurt so bad. He just, fuck it, I'm going to get rid of this one.
He probably couldn't put the other ones on, maybe, because he couldn't get his arms high enough. I don't know. Don't wear that shirt again, Colin.
That was a gutsy performance, man. And I think I heard him say that he was at like 50% the whole day. Wow, I'll take that 50%, 100% of the time, because he showed up, man. He really did. He gutted that out, like you just said. Yeah, big ups to Colin Morikawa.
And then, we can do our picks.
Yeah, we got to recap these picks. I think we did pretty well.
Yeah.
In a tournament where neither of us inexplicably took Rory. I still can't believe that.
I don't really understand why neither of us did. I thought you were going to. So I stayed away.
Yeah. Cam Young was my pick at my top 10 pick. He finished tied for third. He was plus 190 to finish in the top 10. So that paid out a little bit. I wish I had taken him as my top 5 instead.
Yeah, that would have been better odds. And you also hit Schauffele, top 20. I think he finished T9.
He did finish T9 at -8.
Yep, and he was minus 175, so it wasn't the highest odds, but it cashed.
Yeah.
You had Woodland winner, long shot.
Yeah.
Hey, I like the boldness on that.
I liked it too.
I bet it. I sprinkle.
You sprinkled some knowledge there.
I would have made a good bit of coin. You took Fitzpatrick top 5.
Yeah, it didn't hit either.
No, and then Michael Kim top 30.
He wasn't ready.
Yeah,
He
first
wasn't ready.
Masters. I had Scheffler top 5. That hit at plus 140. Not great odds for a top 5 pick, but expected for Scotty to be up there.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the feeling he was going to win. It's kind of a weird feeling I had this year. I obviously think Bryson didn't make the cut.
An MC from Bryson DeChambeau
was
is still, like, we've already talked about it, but it's still inexplicable to me. Like, what happened
Sure,
there?
even par on both days.
Do something.
I think he tried to do too much. I didn't see much of it because I was out on the golf course myself. But, Justin Rose top 10 at plus 275. That was a nice
really
hit.
good pick.
Sungjae top 20. He was flirting with it going into Sunday and Saturday. He shot, I think, 3 or 4 over on Sunday. Took himself like T40. And then Cam Smith top 30. He didn't make the cut
Didn't
either.
make the cut.
These live guys didn't show up.
He didn't show up. Terrell Hatton, only guy who showed up from Live.
Yeah.
But, I was tracking Sungjae because I kept waiting for him to do something. I think he got to 38 was the closest he got. But, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him at the Masters.
No, normally on Sundays at the Masters, he'll shoot. He shot 4 or 5 under the last few years.
No, this year.
I thought, I was like, he's primed. And I think he was higher than 38 going into Sunday. I think he was 24, maybe 30th.
Yeah.
He was up there. He was up there.
Okay.
And I was pumped about it because that was the largest unit.
You love Sungjae, yeah.
Yes, largest units I put on this entire tournament. I was like, yes, that's going to cash. Sungjae is going to shoot a 68.
So is it safe to say that the parlay that you made on the NCAA championships is now down the river?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's going to spend for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
That got deposited back in the savings account. But then,
all in all, I mean, this was a great tournament. This was an amazing Masters. I want to see Rory three-peat. It would be amazing. But the saddest thing is we got to wait 51 weeks to do it. But I think he's got that Mamba mentality.
he's ready. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that closes out the Masters.
It does, sadly, man.
Sadly.
I'm just, oh well.
I'll make some
get
more.
over it.
I'll make
I'll
some
get
more
over it.
clips from our last episode. I've only got one out so far, so we'll have
Okay.
some more Masters content
right.
coming.
All right.
People will appreciate it. I want some.
Thanks,
get
Jack.
some of your stories out there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but let's.
You had some goings on this weekend, though.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
I really did.
Do tell the audience what you did this weekend.
Yeah, so I was planning a member guest at our home course, Plantation Preserve. I was the guest, though. I just play there frequently with a gentleman named Chris Mahoudi's, and he is a character. He will be on the podcast at some point.
We've got to get a big enough room
We
for
should have brought him in this week to
Oh
talk.
my God.
I mean, we ended up winning, and and it was a very intense tournament. We got in a few fights on the course, just a few. I gave some putts. He was like, "No, don't give that putt. I just lost that hole." I'm like, "Chris, it was a 1.5 footer. This guy's a 4 handicap. He's not gonna miss that." It's like, "No, we just lost." I'm like, "Okay, from now on, I'm not giving any more putts." We worked on our mental game together. We got stronger throughout the week. We grinded. And then when it came down to the shootout in the playoffs, we stepped up in the biggest moments when other teams hit it in the water or snap hooked it out of bounds. We hit it on the green and 2-putted for par 3 times in a row, and ultimately took home the trophy. And then we celebrated pretty hard after. We went straight to Moxie's after celebrating in the clubhouse, straight to Moxie's rooftop, out for a very nice dinner, and then finished at Fat Cats. So we had a night, and we brought the trophy out with us. Chris brought his. I left mine at home. We broke it.
No.
There's dings and
That
chips
is
in it.
bad luck.
Oh, it was great luck. Are you kidding me? I mean, we would give it to every bartender, every waitress. Be like, "Do you want to take a picture with this? Like, do you know what this means?" And when I tell you, everyone in every establishment we showed up at knew we were there. Like, I mean it. I mean, we brought the noise, we brought the energy. It was a fantastic weekend. And I spent Sunday watching the Masters, went out for a nice brunch, and, couldn't have asked for a better 4 days.
I thought you were going to push it and play on Sunday as well.
I canceled.
There was no way you were doing that. When I talked to you on Saturday, you were feeling no pain.
I do not remember talking to you. Did we talk on the phone?
Yeah. Yeah, I had found out that you guys won, and, I called you, and yeah, you sounded really happy and completely pain-free.
Yeah,
So
no pain.
good for you. Second cheers of the night goes out to everybody who had to play with Chris Mahoulides this weekend. Congratulations on your win, buddy.
Fair. Thank you. All right, well, let's set the board for the RBC Heritage that we have this week at Harbour Town Golf Links in Hilton Head. Playing 72-43. That's what I got.
That's a long golf course.
Par 71.
Yikes, that is a long sea-level golf course.
It is. Wow. And, it's on the sea, so it's not going to dry out super much. There's a lot of moisture. Fairways are a little sticky.
Yeah.
In the years past, I think it's kind of favored ball strikers for the most part.
Shot makers.
A
Absolutely.
lot of winds
Yeah.
that they're going to have to deal with.
There's a wide range of players who have won this tournament, like say in the last 10 or so years. A guy like Brian Gay, who's now on the Champions Tour, he won this tournament, I think, when he was 48. And then you've got guys who win this tournament for their first win. And then you got guys like Boo Weekly, who won this tournament, I think, twice.
Yeah, he won back-to-back, 2007, 2008.
It's incredible. I want to say that Wesley Bryant won this tournament.
He did win this tournament.
It's crazy. Like the amount of variance you have in PGA Tour exposure. Incredible. I'm sure you've got major champions who won this besides Scotty, but Scotty's won this event. Yeah. I mean, it's a tournament that lends itself to this type of variance on the talent spectrum. And, it's also a tournament that has a great party atmosphere. Have you ever gone? Great party atmosphere. And they rely heavily on that, what the fans bring. They bring that South Carolina feel to it. You'll see a lot of the attendees wearing that heritage tartan, plaid or heritage plaid, as they call it locally. It's a really cool vibe at that event, and there's just so many iconic spots on that golf course because it is one of the better year-to-year golf courses that they visit on the PGA Tour. It just got rebuilt, new greens, new bunkers, new tees. So it kind of, that old Pete Dye design is now new again. And I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, our previous 5 winners here are JT. Last year won in a playoff against Andrew Novak.
Major champ.
A guy that I liked him every week, and I think he's going to break through. He won the escaping my brain.
The Zurich Classic.
Yeah, that's his only win on tour. And then Scotty in 24, Pat Fitzpatrick in 2023, major champ. Jordan Spieth, 2022. Stuart Sink in 2021.
Major champ.
Yeah. So definitely, players like that step up. Wesley Bryan in 2017, now doing YouTube golf and a lot of great things. I mean, that was his only win on tour. And I don't know how many cuts he made. He's obviously a phenomenal player, and especially on the YouTube scene. But
you know what weird record Wesley Bryant holds on tour?
Least amount of missed cuts or something.
Fastest round of golf ever played.
I remember watching that.
Yeah. At the end of it, his caddy just falls over. He's exhausted. It was 2 hours.
He had to make a flight.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought he was just trying to make a point.
No, he had a flight to make, and he didn't want to change his flight.
Oh my
So
God.
he's like, I'm going to play so fast. And he played by himself.
Yeah.
And he basically ran the course.
They were throwing clubs to each other so he could keep it going. He was taking out the pin, wasn't reading his putts. Yeah. And I think he was 2 or 3 under par.
He played fantastic.
Incredible. Guy's amazingly talented. His brother, George,
really good swing.
Total stud. Total stud. The Bryant brothers, I mean, they're way up there on the depth chart of, creator, content. They're amazing.
Maybe one day we'll get a match against them.
They would kick the shit out of us.
We need to get way better.
Way better.
Maybe us in a 2-man scramble against them in a best ball.
That would be a good one.
On a short course.
That would be a good one.
We don't have it that far.
What about this? You and I versus George and Wes, and they have to use 5 clubs. And they can't be their putter and they can't be their driver.
In a scramble?
In a regular event.
Yeah,
I think. Back there, watch that wire.
Oh, you're good. I don't think we need to do that.
Oh, I think we do. They're really good. Dude. Hey, dude.
I hear you. We're recording a
Oh.
podcast. No, you're good.
That's
You're good,
okay,
bro.
man.
You're good.
All right, sorry about that little interruption there. But in closing, Bryant brothers, I think we could take them.
I think we take them without 5 clubs. They play best ball. We play a 2-man scramble.
I think you have a lot of confidence.
And of course, that's like 6,800 yards.
Okay, that might work to our favor.
Yeah.
Although they're going to be hitting sand wedges into everything.
Yeah. We just have to make birdies.
George, Wes, find us. It's on.
They could.
All right. So we've talked about this week's iconic setting. You know what? I love that lighthouse in the backdrop of 18 there. It just, you know exactly where you are. You're at Harbour Town. It's the week after the Masters. You should be very sad, but you're not. You're very happy because you're in this amazingly festive atmosphere. 82 players in the field this week, 4th of the signature series events. Anybody could win this event.
Yeah. There's no cut, once again, that we're going to see in 4 days to shoot a low score.
Shoot a low score.
If you're out of it on Saturday and shoot a 61, hey, you're right back in the tournament. That's a benefit of these signature events. I do like watching the cut line on Friday. I get enjoyment out of that, watching people grind and they make a putt on 18 and fist pump, even though they're 10 shots back. They're going to get a paycheck that week, but we're going to have a really strong field.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. The only guy out of it is Rory, right? Is Scotty
Rory's
playing?
not. Yeah, Scotty's
playing,
yeah.
and
it's a very, very strong field.
it is. And it could be a letdown tournament after the Masters or just a not great field. I like that they have a signature event right after because these guys are probably exhausted, but this is a big one. The purse is huge.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Someone else could be putting on a jacket this week. It's just going to be plaid instead of all green.
Tartan. Yeah.
Tartan.
There's a big history about how that pattern came to be.
It's Scottish, right?
It is Scottish. Yeah. What they did was they removed the yellow thread and it became the heritage tartan. And they got it patented. It's really cool.
Yeah.
The locals refer to it as the heritage plaid, but whatever it is, it is. I can't wait. I love this golf course. I can't wait to see the remodel and how it plays. It's going to be firm. It's going to be fast. This is the time when I take a minute to acknowledge the superintendent who's hosting this week's event. This week, Jonathan Wright is the head superintendent and has been at Harbour Town Golf Links for 25 plus years. His right-hand guys are David Collins and Nathan Leach, who each serve as the lead equipment managers. Best of luck, guys. You've been doing this for so long. Jonathan, I'm sure that you know exactly what to do and what to expect out of your crew this week. So best of luck. I know you guys are going to do great. Cheers.
Cheers, fellas. All right. Before we get into our picks, we have a little recap of our handshake bets. which
Let's
Steve is
do it.
keeping track of now because we haven't done a great job of recapping them all. We have the series total. We'll do maybe our outside the ropes one time will be our recap of our.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I am up 5-4 in the season-long tally. Last week, we had 2 handshake bets. We had both picked the winning score to be 12 under, which, hey, that was pretty darn good. But then we had to set an over-under in order to get a different score for each of us. You chose 13. I took 12. The kid won. I'm still going to call myself the kid, even though I'm twice as old as
It
you.
was the right choice.
Yeah, it was the right choice. You came up with the right choice, but, I gave you the option. You want 12 or 13?
I got cocky.
You said 13. And then the other one that we made was I said no amateurs were going to make the cut. You said at least one would. No amateurs made the cut. No silver cup was handed out. You had gone so far as to say that Bryson was going to become the new addition to the silver cup and green jacket winners. Didn't happen, but bold as always, Jack.
Hey, one of these times I'm going to set you up with a handshake bet that I'm going to win at. Because the amateur one, I didn't know much about the field at all. But
is this going to be like a Kenyon College trivia thing that only you would know?
100%.
Okay.
Oh, right now, if you can guess, it's not profitable for you. But guess whose room I lived in my junior year? Lived in the same exact room
This
at
is
Kenyon College.
this is a famous person.
A famous person.
I'm gonna say Kenyon College's own Guy Tino. No, he's a guy who I went to high school with. Great guy, great musician.
Probably not.
Great dude. What's up, Guy Tino? I know you guys were called the lords and the ladies for the longest time.
And now it's the owls. It's so dumb.
Totally
I
weak.
hate that. I will never donate to
Is
that
there
school.
a famous athlete?
He was an actor,
Okay.
and then he participated in a little bit of other things, some salad dressing potentially.
Paul Newman. No shit.
lived
He
in
went
the
to
same
Kenyon
room.
College.
Yep.
Booyah, Kasha.
Yeah.
Good one, Jack.
Yeah.
So am I up 6-4 now? That
Well,
does it.
I-
You led me pretty good there.
I led you too much. But yeah, my junior year, I lived in that room. It's called the Bullseye Room in one of the oldest dorms on campus. And it's because there's a window that's very circular. It's about 6 feet tall. Someone actually fell out of it about 5-7 years. And it wasn't me. Before I lived there, it was hurt pretty bad, but enough paralyzed, I believe.
Got up and shook it off in true
Yeah.
Lord manner.
Yeah, I guess so. But
How
they,
did you go about getting that ring? Did you have to like petition for
I
it?
think we applied for it actually, and there's a lottery system with picking your dorm rooms.
You guys
Such a
pulled
small
those
school.
Mayflower strings.
So we
didn't
got
you?
it, and it wasn't a great setup. I mean, there was 3 of us, and it was one just big room, and it wasn't the best setup in the world, but it was kind of an iconic room that we wanted. And there was a bar set across the window, so we couldn't really open it or get outside of it.
Okay.
We did try to rip it off one night, and we got pretty darn close, and then we got charged a lot of money to repair that.
I bet you did get charged a lot.
But they don't know we try to do that. But anyways,
You've got no proof until now.
they got no proof. But Steve, let's get into our picks.
Let's
I
do
have to
it,
go to
man.
a concert.
Yeah. Who are you seeing?
Goose.
Oh,
I
Connecticut
love
Film
Goose.
Goose.
And
All
it's
right.
at the War Memorial, so it's not too far.
Not too far.
I got about 15 minutes
Yeah. There we go. That's all we'll need.
maximum.
I would like to hear your top 20 pick for the RBC Heritage.
My guy, Justin Thomas,
Yeah, good one.
won it last year. He's plus 175. I think they're great odds. I think this course suits him very well. It's really just for ball strikers, shot makers with this wind, someone who can flight the ball. He's coming off the injury from earlier in the season, started a little bit late this year, but, hasn't played his best. T8 at the Players. His last 2 starts here was obviously a win and tied for 5th the year before in 2024. I love his game here. I think he's got that fiery mentality after coming off not so good finish at the Masters. Probably wanted to play a little bit better. And I think that course for JT, sneaky down the road. I think JT is going to win a green jacket. Just because of how he can shape the ball, hit his wedges, and when his putter gets hot, he's tough to beat. But yeah, Justin Thomas plus 175. I haven't taken him this year too, and he's my guy.
You took him at the API when he came back.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, first week I took Sergio
Yeah.
and JT. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, you're
But that
right.
was a tough one for JT. That's a hard golf course to come back
Yeah,
to.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
Yeah, that's forgiven. That's forgiven. I like JT there, man. I think it's tough to repeat anywhere.
Yeah.
Rory proved us very wrong in that
I was kind of
capacity.
going with the trend.
Going
here.
with that trend. All right. Are you still on vibes?
I'm always vibes.
Always vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially today because I didn't prep a whole
Did
lot.
you go to work looking like Jimmy Buffett?
No, this is for the concert.
Okay. That makes sense.
This is a XL Brooks Brothers button-down shirt from like 1970.
I was gonna say that's got some vintage look to it.
It doesn't fit me well.
No.
There's a rip somewhere in it. I think I got it repaired. I before I put it on, I tried to find it. I don't know where it is, but I think it was like here, and like my breast would show.
Your breast would be exposed.
My breasts. Yeah.
Well, watch out, world. My top 20 pick, Sam Sneaky Stevens. Yeah, at
Cash
plus
and checks.
250. Dude cashes checks, man. He is now 9 out of 10 cuts made this year with having made the cut at the Masters. He's coming off of a week where he has risen to official world golf ranking of 45th. That's impressive for a guy who has yet to win on tour. I think I might have said the same thing about him last week, but he's 38th overall in strokes gained total. He's 24th. He's T for 24th at the Masters and a 5th place finish 2 weeks ago in Houston. I think has set him up for this Oklahoma State Cowboy to finally get something really going. He might even win this thing. I say that a lot, but top 20, I'd be happy.
Yeah, he's sneaky Stamp Stevens, and he's cashing checks. I mean, those last 2 finishes, I'm sure his bank account feels very healthy right
We
now.
said the same exact thing
Yep.
about him last week.
I mean, that's good for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
shit.
should have written to him and seen, hey, are you driving a nicer car than you were 2 years ago?
I'm sure.
I guarantee
I'll make
you.
a little clip of all the times we talk about him, and he'll be on the show soon.
Sam Sneaky Stevens.
We might have a few guys coming on the show. I won't mention names, but something a little foreshadowing. Who knows? I might know a guy.
I know a guy.
I might meet some people when I go out and be a little friendly and start chatting. And oh, I know this guy. Yeah. Oh,
Well, especially when you're holding a trophy.
it was important
Yeah.
that I had that trophy.
What's your top 10?
I like this pick a lot, and it's kind of a safety pick in a way for a top 10,
Okay.
which is tough to do. But Patrick Cantlay, a guy I don't think has been picked this year
I
by either of us, right? I'll never forget 2021 when he was battling Bryson in the playoff for the FedEx, or that was at Eastlake.
That was at Eastlake.
Yeah, finals of the FedEx. And he didn't miss a putt from outside of 30 feet for 6, 7 holes in a row. And I was like, this guy is ice, patty ice. I mean,
He's tough. He's really tough.
tough and
Confident.
confident and hasn't really taken that next step to win a major, but he's always right there.
Yeah.
And particularly at this tournament, he's got 5 top 5s, which is right behind Luke Donald for the most. Luke Donald has 7. His last 5 finishes here: T13, T3, 3rd, 2nd when he lost in the playoff, and then he missed the cut the year before. This year he's got 4 top 15s. I feel like he's always a guy too. I've said this about a few guys that ramp up throughout the season where they kind of start slow and they're just prepping for the Masters. He was ready for the Masters. I think he was 12th.
Yeah, he had a good Masters.
Yeah.
I think you're saying all the right things about him. I think he is ramping himself up for a tournament like this that he can win, that he's got a track record at.
100%. He always plays well here. He's plus 180. I would like a little bit better odds for a top 10 pick, but playing strong the last few weeks. Patrick Cantlay, I can see being up there and potentially winning. It was tough to take him not to win.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick, man. That's another one of your ones. I'd say, no, that's too good. Throw it away, but I can't do that. Okay. I'm going to take what I think is probably a pretty safe pick as well for my top 10. And I'm going to go with a guy I mentioned earlier in the show, Russell Henley. Russell Henley is just a monster. He's so good. He is at plus 175. He's got a great history at this event. He's got a tied for 8th last year. He's got a T12 the year before that, and a T9 in 2021, which I believe was a year that came down to like Fitzy and Speed. Was that the long
That was
one?
That might have been 22. It's
22. Regardless,
22 is when Spieth won.
Yeah.
23 was so that was 23 when Fitzy won. He was in the
Okay.
playoff with Spieth. Spieth won the year before.
okay.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, Henley's got a track record at this event. He's just a solid player. He's not going to make mistakes on a golf course that is right there for you. Harbour Town Golf Links. Hit it here, don't hit it there, don't hit it there. Get it on the green, make your occasional putt. Don't make big mistakes. This is his type of golf course. I like Russell Henley this week.
I'm sure he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder after last week at the Masters. Great
Maybe,
finish, but
yeah.
had a chance to win. My winner is a guy, a bit of a long shot, which, I mean, odds-wise, for sure. Jason Day at plus 6,000. He's a guy I've been watching the last few years reinvent himself in a way. Number 1 player in the world back in 2016, 2017. Had a great stretch. Dealt with so many back injuries and has kind of changed his swing. But I didn't see a ton of golf for the Masters other than all day Sunday. I tuned in, but I'm checking on my phone, whatnot. His swing just looks so good right now. It's so on plane. It's so simple. It's chipping, putting. He's a guy who's a shot maker and one of the best putters I've ever seen play live. I don't know his history here. It's not great, honestly. 2016, when he was number one player in the world, he was in first place heading into round 4. He shot a 79 to lose the tournament.
Wow.
But so far this year, he's got 2 top 10s. He finished T12 at the Masters. He was in the second to last group, so he didn't have a great day. 6th at the Houston Open the week before, 2 weeks before that. He's rounding into form a little bit. He's finding his game. He's always tinkering. You see him on YouTube too, and I think that's making him better. I think with him and Bryson just playing all this golf, all this competitive golf on camera, you and I have done it, and it's a little different, right? I mean, it's
we have a little smaller of an audience than they do.
Yeah,
but
no one's really watching, but I hope people are
not
watching.
yet.
Not yet. But it adds a little bit of pressure, and it's good prep. So I like Jason Day here.
That's cool, man. I like, he doesn't have a long history at this event, but he, like you said, he is rounding into form. Did he have a great day on Sunday at the Masters? No, but he was putting himself into these positions where a good day for him on Sunday, and we might have somebody else wearing a green jacket right now.
Second to last group. I mean, he had a chance to win.
He had a chance to win. Okay, so my winner, Scotty Scheffler, is going to win this golf tournament this week. He is plus 350, and I think he's plus 350 for a really good reason. I think everybody is already playing for second place. Comes off of a second place finish at Augusta. He's won this event 2 years ago. He's never finished worse than 11 in his 4 attempts at getting a tartan jacket. I think he wins this event by more than 2.
I don't disagree. I can't pick him because I picked him last week.
Yep.
I got nothing to say. Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, he's pissed. He lost the Masters.
Yeah, and even if I'm kind of hoping Scotty has a bad first round because he's done that a couple times this year and then just really hit the accelerator, and like he did this weekend at Augusta.
Especially with no cut and no worries about,
just going for it.
I really hope he stops that trend, though, because he's too good to play bad on Thursday and Friday.
It makes it interesting.
It does. I think he's doing it, honestly. PGA might have paid him a little bit onto the table, said, hey, dude, just miss a few short ones. Make this tournament interesting.
What do you think Scotty Scheffler would say to that?
He would probably tell me to fuck off.
He wouldn't swear, as it's not his MO, but he would probably
take his hat off and
say the same thing to the PGA Tour that he said to a reporter this weekend and say, next question. That was just a terrible question.
Awful.
That was so funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, I think that wraps up the setting the board for Harbour Town this week. I think we did a great job. I think you have some great picks. Cantlay, I think, could win this tournament.
I do too.
Yeah, that's a really sneaky pick.
Got a little handshake bet.
Ooh. You want to put one of your guys, one of your non-winners up against one of my non-winners?
Scotty versus the field.
No, won't take it.
You won't take Scotty?
I won't, because I've already done it this year, and it came back to bite me.
Huh.
I did it. I can't remember where I think I Waste Management.
All right,
but what I'll do is I'll put Sam Stevens up against Cantlay.
To finish higher.
Yeah. All right. That's a good one.
I like that.
All right.
I'll take that.
Write that down, because
you're the tracker of that now.
This has led us very well into our Divot of the Week. Now, we haven't done a Divot of the Week in quite a while. We've been doing a lot of outside the ropes, or we haven't been doing anything at all. But this week's Divot of the Week, and to refresh your memory, a Divot of the Week is like something that you want addressed, something that you see as being wrong with whatever it is. It doesn't have to be golf. In this case, it is about golf, and it is about a golfer in particular. And I want to address Sergio Garcia's antics on the second tee on Sunday at Augusta National. After another wayward tee shot, Sergio slammed his club into the turf, the shortcut turf on the tee, right in front of his playing partner, countryman John Rahm. So now John Rahm's got to stare at this big hole in the earth while he's trying to tee off on a hole where he's expecting to make a birdie. But Sergio didn't stop there. His temper tantrum continued, and he proceeded to slam his driver into a bench adjacent to the tee block. Broke his driver, so he takes it and he snaps it off. They are approached by a rules official on one of the subsequent holes, and Sergio is given a warning for a code of conduct. I don't think that was enough. I think he damaged the golf course with people still to play the golf course. Is it going to get in the way of these guys? No. But it's a mar on an otherwise flawless tee box that these guys now have to look at. This is not the first time that Sergio has had one of these on-course temper tantrums. And I just think it needs to be addressed. He is a former Masters champion. He is expected to represent that green jacket, that tournament, that club, and its members. And he did not.
And I dealt with something very similar this past weekend with my playing partner, Chris Mahouladis. And he wasn't slamming clubs. He was way more classy than Sergio, but, you know, a few temper tantrums here and there. Not, you know, particularly normal behavior on the golf course. He did it for him and whatnot. But, you know, so I think there's a side to that, right? Where you got to get your anger out and you get frustrated. Listen, I've thrown clubs before. I've thrown my 6-iron 150 yards and they hit a tree. It was the most impressive club throw I've ever had.
That might be the greatest club throw of all time.
Snapped it on a palm tree from like 150 yards. It was insane. I was like, I didn't know I could do that.
You can't throw a club 150 yards.
It probably, yeah, that was in
50 yards would be a pretty impressive throw.
It probably was about 50. Now that I think about it. And, you know, I've slammed my club against my bag and snapped my 5-iron. One, that sucks for us. I mean, the tour players, not so much. That's $100 a shaft. Yeah. But particularly at Augusta National, you don't want to, you know, do anything to damage the course. You don't want to do anything to mess with the patrons or the rules officials there or just those grounds because they're such perfectionists there. I saw a great tweet of a basket of kind of replacement divots already pre-made about, you know, 6 inches tall, cut in perfect circles. Divot happens, boom, they cut it out, replace it right away. So club slamming on the tee box, not so good. And then damaging a bench potentially that, I don't know what that bench means. It probably was donated by someone.
They make all those benches on property.
Yeah. I mean, but no, not a great look. And he also didn't have a driver for the rest of the day. He was hitting 3-wood. That was his only response in the post-game interview. It was like, yeah, it just made my decision easier. I just hit 3-wood and everything. It's like, it's not a great look, dude.
Yeah, he didn't see the big deal about it. And that's one of the issues here. Now, does this move the needle at the Amex Championship if he does it there, or the 3M Open, or one of the tournaments that's kind of further down the trough of importance on the PGA Tour as opposed to it happening at the Masters? No, it doesn't move that needle. It gets noticed, but big deal. But he is a representative of those hallowed grounds. And I'm sorry, I mean, this sounds elitist, but you got to do better. You've got to be better. You've got to hold yourself to a higher regard. And he just shrugged that responsibility there. He felt that his temper tantrum was more justified and more important than the history of that event. And I thought it was really, really poor form. I wouldn't be making a big deal of this. Not his first time. Not his first time. Sergio has spit in cups after failing to make a par. Other people have to reach into that cup and deal with your shit. Gross. He has slammed his club into turf, into bunkers repeatedly, into microphones. He did it at the US Open at the Olympic Club. Not cool. Maybe his most famous and most egregious misstep came at the 2013 BMW Championship, where he and Tiger Woods had kind of traded barbs 2 weeks leading up to that, where Sergio felt like Tiger had been distracting him during his setup at one of his shots for the Players Championship. I've seen the replay of it. I don't see that as being the case. Tiger Woods would never do anything to take anybody off their game. But this continued for Sergio. Sergio said something that was very racially charged. When asked if he would invite Tiger over for dinner, Sergio said, Yeah, we'll have him over. We'll have fried chicken. That's not fucking cool. And then, you know what? Yeah, it was 13 years ago. Guess what? That's never leaving your resume. That is on there for good. You said that, and you walked it back within a week. He walked it back. He was really sorry about it. Doesn't fly with me. I think you can sense here that there's a theme with Sergio. The last or the most recent, it was 2019. It was right before COVID. He was in the Saudi Championship, and he starts damaging greens with his club and with his shoes. Now there's still people playing. This is garbage. This is garbage behavior from a major champ, one of the greatest Ryder Cup competitors of all time, maybe one of the 50 best golfers of all time. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself to a higher esteem and do better. But he's just proven that he can't.
Yeah, I mean, especially at a place like Augusta, like I said, and then, I mean, listen, I'm all for getting your anger out on the course and letting it out. I think there's importance to that. And I have a system. I have a 10-step system. After a bad shot, I allow myself 10 steps in any direction back to the cart or, just go on my own little walk to get whatever I need to get out. I don't want to damage the golf course, and I don't want to impede anyone else's ability to play golf. Those are my two rules with it.
Yeah.
But I can cuss myself out. I could stomp and whatever. Greens, not cool to do that on. Those are too delicate, especially a lot of public golf we play.
Yeah.
If I see a green damaged by someone intentionally, I'm very upset. No, and then just the comments about Tiger, I don't necessarily remember that.
That's never going away.
No, that's not cool.
Never going away.
It doesn't fly.
And this latest outburst, why did it happen? He was nowhere near the lead. He wouldn't have even challenged a top 20 finish had he shot the best round he's ever shot at Augusta. And let's face it, those days are long behind Sergio. He's not doing that again. I mean, this was so nonsensical, but at the same time, it was Sergio. So it was really right in line with his history. I just don't miss his bullshit.
Yeah.
Since he's gone to live, I don't miss it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's all I got to say about that.
all I got. I think that wraps up episode 12 of the Talking Divots podcast. Please make sure to check out this full episode on YouTube and Spotify, especially when you're driving in your car, you have nothing else to listen to, on the way to work. We'd love to get our Spotify numbers up.
We are once again at the world famous Parrot Lounge in Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
Love this place. Great hosts. Jack, again, congratulations on your member guest win.
Thank you.
That is big stuff, my man.
I'm a champion.
You are a champion. You were a champion beforehand. I'm Steve Byrne.
I'm Jack Snow, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Make it, we win it. Watch it roll slow.